It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, the Mighty Testament with Burnt Offerings, and here doing a tour that's sure to scorch you just a little bit out there with Slayer and Carcass. It is the one and only Testament, and it's Chuck Billy from Testament. Chuck, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Excellent, man. Well, Chuck, I got to tell you, man, you guys are one of those bands that it seems like every time you tour, whether you're in the support slot or you're in a headline slot, you always seem to be on these great tours, whether it's, bringing out younger bands like a Warbringer, which I've seen you do in the past, or whether it's being on tour with Black Sabbath and Motorhead and Judas Priest and whatever. You always seem to play. It doesn't seem to matter for you guys. Is that something that you as a band strive to do, or is that just how it all sort of works out for you?
Well, I think probably does a little bit of both. I mean, of course, we'd like to play with whoever we have a chance and the opportunity to play with, new fans, older fans. That's always great to do.
Sure. Definitely. Does going out with a tour, and obviously Slayer, their fans are beyond rabid, although it's probably a huge crossover for your fans as well. But does that push you guys even just that little bit much harder to bring it even more than other nights might?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely gearing up song-wise, song selection for the tour.
Sure.
Maybe a couple songs. I mean, we have a 40-minute set, so it's really 8 songs, out of 100 we have to choose from. So it gets a little difficult. But we are going to put in a couple, more thrashier, faster stuff for sure that are, some stuff that we just haven't played the last few years.
Excellent. Well, Chuck, it's an exciting time in the Testament camp. Fans are very, very, rabid waiting for the new record. Can you give us an update where you are with the new record and when we can expect it?
Yeah, we have all the music's complete. About 3 songs vocally complete, and I'm pounding away on the lyrics and patterns still for the rest of it. We're knee deep in it. We actually recorded a single 2 weeks ago, and Eric actually just finished his tracks, and I'll probably track the vocals next week. We're trying to get, before the tour comes out or during the tour. All depends what the schedule looks like for Nuclear Blast.
Okay.
And drop a single out for the tour, so people get a kind of a taste of what directions it's going.
Sure.
And as soon as we finish the tour, we go immediately in the studio till June because we have some stuff booked in June. So that's the window. We'll be in there doing all the recording.
So more than likely we would see this in the late fall. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. Well, Nuclear Blast have plenty of time to set it up, and they're going to have a schedule. We hope June, July would be amazing if that could happen. Okay,
excellent, man. Well, Chuck, already this year here in 2016, there's been some excellent releases by bands of I'll say our generation. I think I'm the same age as you. Anthrax's new record is fantastic. The Megadeth record is fantastic. Yep. Even going back a little bit, the Slayer record was fantastic. What do you think it is that's pushing the bands of the late 80s, early 90s, when they came up, such as yourselves, to put out that much, good music still?
Well, I'd probably say, I could speak for us and myself as a band like that. At some point, you really get comfortable with yourself and as a musician, artist, and songwriters, and especially if you work with the people for so long, it happens. It's like anything you do in life. You lift weights all your life, you're probably going to be pretty strong.
Right.
So it's kind of same philosophy. You keep working with somebody writing music and playing. You really know their strong points and weak points, and it's a comfort thing, and I think that's what the music comes out. It shows, and when you're writing it, that it's just killer.
Sure.
And you're right; all those bands have great records.
Sure, definitely. Now, another band that had a great record is one that I'm under the impression you had a large part of. I'll say healing for better word, and that would be Exodus with Blood In, Blood Out last year. No secret that you formed a management company or are part of a management company that works with them, and you get a lot of credit for bringing Zetro back. Is that true, or is that internet truth, or what?
Not really. I mean, I wouldn't say I give me credit. I mean, I know Zet at that point. I mean, I think it's knowledge they came to a crossroad where they wanted to try other things, and the only options were, okay, and everybody knew we can get Zet or we can get somebody brand new. So
okay.
I guess the most logical, let's see what Zet could do first and try that. And he did it, and they liked what he did. So it was kind of that easy. And it wasn't that I had anything to do with it. I just happened to say, what are the options?
Okay.
Zet or a brand new guy.
Right.
You have only two, really. So, I mean, try this one. If it does work, then that's the other one, because starting with a new singer was what they didn't want to do. So
sure.
I don't think it had anything to do with me.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I want to go backwards just a little bit to 2000, whatever it was, 12, I guess, with Dark Roots of Earth. Because one thing I saw was that I saw a lot of love and awards and everything else for Native Blood, which I have to imagine for you personally, given the nature of the song and the Indian heritage and whatnot, meant something probably a little more than a lot of other things that you've won in the past. Is that true, or?
Oh, well, big time. That whole part of my life, just because from my cancer, and I don't know if you've read any stories just about, I did a lot of, healing with, medicine men, really, and after that, really just, that was a big part of me, really spiritually and mentally and everything. So, and I never really expressed a lot of it in my music and songwriting. So Native Blood came out, and just the buzz off it, and the video had a very strong message, and winning an award for that was pretty awesome.
Sure.
The American Film Festival won first for the video. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that was pretty awesome, and then the same year being recognized at the Smithsonian for Up Where We Belong. It's a display they had there for Native Americans and pop culture.
Sure.
So, all this stuff started kind of just popping out from what got me through, what actually kept me here is for me, spiritually, is, me healing, beating cancer.
Sure. Well, how difficult is it? And I'm asking because I have no clue. I'm really just, going to take your word for it. But there's a traditional thought of way to handle something like cancer. And then there is, a spiritual thing, whether it's the way you went or whether it's people that believe in Jesus or whatever, where they put all their faith into, or all their healing into their faith. Is it scary to do that, to put all your thoughts and into the faith versus, if it doesn't work, then what,
Well, I mean, I didn't say I put all my healing just in my native roots. What I meant by that was connecting. I was raised Catholic, and, going through this and really touching my native roots, connecting that way, but getting me prepared mentally what I was battling. That was the whole thing, trying to face it head on a certain way.
Sure.
Because I still did my chemotherapy and everything, but I did everything else as well.
Okay.
And some pretty wild stuff happened, so, so, it's what I needed to do and what I did, because I talked to people that have came to me, and can you give me some advice? And it's just the belief. That's what I had, believing that I am getting better, whatever I'm doing, it's working. And I'm, it's the power of the mind.
Sure, definitely. Well, I know there's a million or so of us out here running around the States that are glad that it did work, man, because Dark Roots and everything in the Testament catalog is so solid, man. I'm certainly glad that you got healthy again and that you're still kicking ass.
Well, I'm glad I had the opportunity, because at that point of my illness, I'd look in the mirror and not recognize myself. And at that point, I took 2 years off, didn't listen to any music or even Testament. And I thought really it was that we were done, until we had that benefit show and we had the reunion. That was the first time that Alex, Louie, Greg, myself, and Eric shared a stage.
Sure.
And from that point, we kind of reconnected, and we did First Strike Still Deadly, Alex recorded with us. And then we did that reunion, and that's really what kind of sparked it. It's after that, it's like, you know what, I'm from beating cancer, thinking I'm never doing this again, to have an opportunity to do it with the original guys was beyond like belief. And it was just like, wow. And that's when we really kicked into like being comfortable with ourselves. And it really put us like the team's back together. We're all going to see this through to the end, you know, and it was,
sure.
You know, a lot of that had a lot to do with, you know, everything.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that your career restarted or was reborn, I guess? And the distinction I make between the two is I think a lot of fans look at Formation and Dark Roots as almost like a rebirth, like a comeback, so to speak.
I'd say you're right. It's both, because really, when we were at the gathering before my illness, we had so many member changes going through this band, drummers, guitar players, bass players.
Sure.
We really didn't tour really hard because we never knew who was in the band. You know, it was tough.
Right.
Once we had the reunion and we did a couple of shows, we never pushed it or talked it. We just kept playing. And at one point we said, hey, we're kind of enjoying this, and we're a year into it now. What do you guys think about writing a record? And everybody's like, yeah, cool. So it was just a real comfortable thing. We just let it happen.
Sure. Very cool, man. Well, one thing that's going to be happening here in the next month and a half or so, or next month for a couple of weeks, is the tour with Slayer and Carcass. Begins February 19th, I believe. What can fans expect?
Well, like I said, there's going to be a couple tracks that they probably haven't heard in a long time that are going to be, you know, for some of the heavier stuff. And, you know, like I said, 40 minutes. It's going to go back classic and probably cover some of the stuff up to the Formation and Dark Roots. So it's going to fly by, but we're going to come out swinging. You know, so I look forward to all the fans getting there, get there early, check out Carcass. They're going to kick ass.
Sure.
So it's going to be good.
Excellent, man. Well, Chuck, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track. Pick anything you want from your catalog, and tell us a quick story about it to wrap this up.
Well, how about let's choose this song here as just one of my songs that every time we play live, it's one of my favorites. It has a little bit of everything, vocally, musically. This is a song called 3 Days in Darkness.
All right. 2012. Very nice. Well, let's check it out right now. It is Testament right here on your Classic Metal Show.